You can write on.
Man.
And Nathan's 2-year-old likes to write on the stuff that's not whiteboard too.
Did you guys paint the whiteboard paint on here?
Nathan does it.
That's like a dream.
Yeah.
Dream wall.
All right.
Whiteboard walls.
Are we live?
We are live.
We're live. All right. With me is a very special guest. She's a woman of many talents. She's an Olympian, a pro runner, a Dartmouth grad, an actress, a screenwriter. This woman can do everything. It's the incredible Alexi Pappas.
Nice to see everyone.
Yeah,
nice
thanks
to see
thanks for coming in. Yeah, we worked together in 2014 on her movie Tracktown. It's available in theaters and on demand Friday, is it?
Yeah, it's actually May 12th. It's going on iTunes, and you can pre-order it this week. But it's going into theaters on Thursday in 10 cities all over the country. So I play a very, very small role in it. She stars in it, and we actually have a big treat for you. We have the trailer. And Jake, can you cue that up for us?
In long-distance running, the only opponent you have to beat is yourself, Haruki Murakami. If you keep on believing, the dreams that you wish will come true. Cinderella.
You are seeing the makings of the new Team USA.
It's a whole new level of competition.
Well, I've wanted to make an Olympic team for my entire life.
I know you're worried about tomorrow's race, but listen.
Do you know what the kernels are? Untapped potential.
You know what this one is? This is you, Plum.
Perfect.
Supposed to happen?
Your body needs to heal.
The finals are in 3 days.
I can't recommend that you run in the finals unless you're recovered. No running.
You pretty much go to this bakery every day.
Can I make you a sandwich?
Are you gonna finally ask for Bakery Boy's number?
What are you doing right now?
I'm not gonna get upset with you for staying up too late. That's not my job.
It is your job.
My job is to coach you, but you still get to make your own choices.
I don't like making choices.
I really like you. I think you're extreme.
I think I'm crazy. I need to go home. I need to nap in my altitude tent.
Keep stretching and come on.
I don't skip things. I'm moving really quickly.
Do you want to be here?
If you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done. You give up your childhood, and people say it's awful. I say it was a good trade. Mary Lou Retton.
We all know the college running star Plum Marigold, but the Olympic trials, it's a whole new level of competition. What's going through your mind right now?
Well, I've wanted to make an Olympic team for my entire life. All the work is done. I just have to stick to my routine and, turn in my homework. So I'm not gonna let any distractions get in my way between now and making the Olympic team.
One sec.
So, I just sold a bunch of power muffins to a group of 80-year-old guys wearing the same tights as you.
Cool.
All right, we're back. So you just saw the awesome trailer for Tracktown. It's in theaters and on demand Friday. Again, we have the amazing Alexi Pappas, star of that movie, Olympian, steeplechase, phenomenal athlete with us. Please click the share button. Tell your friends that we're live. We're going to be here for about 15 or 20 minutes. I'm going to be asking her all kinds of crazy questions. You guys actually submitted some, so let's get started.
Let's have our brown bag lunch together.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. So you competed for Greece last year.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a difficult decision to make? Because I mean, you had a choice to compete for both America and Greece, correct?
Yeah, it was a choice that I made with sort of the support of the mentors, coaches, and role models in my life. And really for me, competing for Greece was the chance to pave new ground in a place where there'd never been a 10,000 meter runner in the Olympics, and in a country where the Olympics was born, but there are not as many distance runners as they might have here in the US. And so it gave me the opportunity, and continues to give me the opportunity, to kind of be a presence in a place that has a space for new role models and new things to be done.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
And you went back a couple times last year, didn't you?
Yep. I spent sort of I think it was like the month and a half before Rio, early summer there.
Yeah.
And that was really cool because I got to meet the whole team that I would then later be roommates with and spend a lot of time with in Rio.
That's awesome. So tell us about Rio. We heard from Devin Allen last week, and he said it was incredible. And I know from my own experience, it's always a little overwhelming. You think you know what you're going to get into, and then as soon as you get down there, it's something totally different, and not necessarily in a bad way. What did you love and what did you dislike about your Rio experience?
Yeah, so it's funny you mentioned Devin, because I have like a very specific memory of him. I think he was like sitting on a bench in the village, and I got like food takeout from the cafeteria, and we sat there together, and we were just like, man, this is like unlike anything else. And I think the coolest thing was being around all these like minds and bodies that are like the top of their game, but a different game than I play. You know,
like seeing the little packs of cheerleaders run around, and
a
7-foot basketball player coming through.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool to see those different body types.
Yeah, you're like totally in a storybook or like a cartoon that you are like one of the players of.
Yeah.
I think one of the challenges was just making sure to like stay on my own team and like not worry about, you know, the little things that throw you off your routine, because you can't.
And the big things. When you're at that level, there's all kinds of stuff that'll throw you off.
Right.
I always felt the athletes that could roll with the punches did best overseas. Did you feel that way in Rio, that traffic and different meals and all of the media exposure and everything, you kind of had to really roll with the punches, so to speak, as you were preparing for the competition at the very highest level?
Yeah, just not comparing it to anything else.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know, when you've competed at the very highest levels as well, it's almost like you can't compare.
You can't script it.
Yeah. So
as someone who likes to script things, tell us, is that difficult for you? Like, tell me how you prepare for a track race versus how you write a screenplay. I mean, one is very scripted, and one you have in your mind how you'd like it to play out, and it never does play out that way. Is that hard?
It is, but actually in the film world and in Tracktown, which I think you found because you didn't have lines, and then somehow you ended up with lines in the final movie.
Crushed it.
So there's a lot of like improv involved in both, like the filmmaking and being on your toes, and being at a meet like the Olympics, where you prepare as best you can, and then when you get there, you're as prepared as you could be for the unprepared,
right?
And the unpredictable. And I think it was the athletes who were okay with things happening unexpectedly, who did the best, who were not worried about, you know,
their perfect ritual going the right way.
Yeah. Like even the hip numbers that we had, only I think like a third of the women actually got their hip numbers on, and even that threw people off. And you just can't let that stuff bother you. You just have to take it as like a part of the whole experience, and almost have it like fuel you. Yeah. And same with on the film set. Man.
I saw you working, and I had known you as a professional runner and a brilliant, you know, woman, but to watch you be Plum and to see you, I'm assuming a lot of that was improvised? Because I read the script, and there were some scenes where you were clearly improvising or following Jeremy's direction. you did a phenomenal job with that. And I think that when you watch this movie, when you watch it on Friday, whether you watch it in theaters or on demand, it's just amazing to see someone who is what I was realizing is something that you hadn't really prepared for the way that you prepare for track and field. This was a new role for you, and it just seemed so natural for you.
Thank you. And one of the most important moments for myself as a filmmaker, and I know Jeremy as well, was in the script writing process, we wrote it as true to our experience as my experience as we could, and we had these advisors in the film world, but really one of the biggest moments was when we showed the script to you, Nick, because we were afraid and we were excited but nervous that it would or wouldn't speak to the very core audience that we cared the most about, which were these runners. And I remember you telling me that you understood Plum and that she was a real person to you, and that was like huge, and that was like permission to make that thing that we wanted to make.
I think I said I've met Plum. Like, I've never actually met the character, but I have met this person, multiple variations of this person. I think Plum, and this is my own interpretation, combines some of the more neurotic aspects of several different types of runners, but she encompasses all of those neuroses in herself. Yeah. And as you watch this coming of age story, this neurotic runner, and I saw this on a thread the other day, they said that Plum is, at the same moment, she's 15, 25, and 55. In the sense that chronologically she's about in her mid-20s preparing for an Olympic trial race. But in terms of coming of age, she's still very much like a small, frail child, but with wisdom well beyond her years. So in every scene, you're watching this young lady, come of age, but with the wisdom of someone far older than her. And the quotes, where did you get these quotes for the movie?
So the quotes were a thing that it was kind of a play on how some of us younger athletes, any athlete, rely on these like mantras or things to ground you, to get you through every day. And so Plum similarly relies on these when things are off, she can go back to these quotes. And we did a lot of research for these quotes.
They're good, and they're really good because sometimes you have these really serious scenes in the movie, and then it'll cut quickly, and she'll just drop this quote bomb on you. And sometimes you really need that, like it's a heavy scene, and then this quote comes up, and the whole crowd's just laughing. I had the pleasure of attending the LA Film Festival where it debuted, and we had a packed house, and people were they were crying one scene and laughing their butts off the next. And my mom texted me and she said, "Make sure you give Lexi a big hug today." She said that was one of the best nights of her entire life, was walking the red carpet at the LA Film Festival.
Oh my gosh, your mom, Nick's mom is amazing.
Shout out to Andrea Symmonds.
Yeah, she's amazing. And I was gonna ask you, Nick, do you have any like mantras or things that you live by? And
I mean, things went really easy for me in my 20s. I had this, the help of Coach Sam here, and I wasn't injured a lot, and I just got better and better each year. And it wasn't until 2014 where I really started experiencing some difficulties, injuries and some personal issues that were hard for me to overcome. And Coach Sam taught me perseverance. When things started getting really tough, he said, "There's one characteristic that separates people who are successful from people who aren't." And you always think it's like a combination of 100 different things. He goes, "No, it's just one thing. It's perseverance." And in 14, as we persevered through what could have been a career-ending injury and capitalized on some newfound free time and created this product, and you and Jeremy were there the whole time as us kind of coming out of this fog and realizing that there's more to life than just running. I take that lesson with me now as a CEO of this company, and as someone who's trying to compete still at a very high level. You just have to persevere. No matter what you do in life, obstacles are going to get in the way, and the people that persevere are going to be the successful ones. And you've persevered through a lot in your life, and I think that the best running and the best filmmaking days are obviously ahead of you. Getting back to you, what do you see yourself doing in the future? You see yourself as a pro runner for the next 20 years? You see yourself making movies, starring in movies? What is your passion?
Yeah, so I think the running has been like one way for me to explore my like outermost limits, like mentally and physically. I think I'll run forever. I don't think I will run forever at this level. I think that's like a special like
dedication.
Yeah, and it's a special period of time that like deserves its moment.
Absolutely.
And it deserves.
I always said, I don't know if you feel the same way. I say I love running. I hate training. Running's amazing, right? You get out and you see the wilderness and you feel connected with nature. Training is sacrifice. It's time away from families. It's intervals. It's running till you puke. Those can be beautiful, but you don't want to do that the rest of your life necessarily.
I mean, as long as it still feels like a choice, it's a good thing.
Absolutely.
You know, and it is when if it starts to feel like anything else, then it'll become a challenge. But I think for me, my partner and the love of my life, Jeremy, and I.
Your fiance.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Exactly. Thank you. We will continue to see these like creative projects through, and I think more and more. Eventually, it will be fun to abuse my body for the arts or whatever, and that'll take like as much commitment as the running certainly.
But you learn what it takes to be great at something now. The dedication, the sacrifice, and you can apply that to anything. And I think Coach Sam, when I became the CEO last summer, he said, you need to understand what it took for you to go from a Division III athlete to number 2 in the world. And he said you need to apply those same lessons at RunGum, and you need to focus and dedicate yourself each day to being the best CEO that you can be. And it was hard for me. Making those transitions is really hard. Do you see yourself doing the films and running simultaneously, or do you see a big transition at some point in your life?
I think as long as they're continuing to be a positive feedback loop to one another.
And they seem to be like propping each other up. They work very well together.
I feel like they do, and I think there will be a time when like I understand that I'm ready to pull the all-nighter to work on the film work instead of making sure that I go to bed at 9:30 or 10 o'clock, and that time like hasn't come yet, but I'm aware that the artist's life is different than the athlete life. Definitely. And right now there's like that balance that's working out really well, and so I'm just trying to like be present with like what I'm doing and be aware of like what I want to continue doing, and I'm sure for you, like in taking over this business or in starting this business, you're feeling like the trade-offs or the smooth transition.
I mean, there's a lot of ups and downs, but it's one of those things where you jump into something new and it's never going to be perfect. When we started RunGum, we had a vision what we wanted, and we would have never gotten the product off the ground if we had constantly been trying to refine everything. We said finally we just got to bring it to market and we'll get better and better and better. Kind of like with this series, this is only you're our third athlete to come through here, and the first one with Weeding, bless him, we kind of we're chaotic, not too scripted, and now having Devin last week, and now we're so honored to have you, we're able to continue to make this better and better. And our goal here at RunGum, as you know, is not only to fuel, but to also inspire people to make the most out of their busy lives. So we fuel you with our performance-enhancing chewing gum, but we want to inspire you with amazing stories of people like Alexi and the crazy, awesome things they're doing. So I know you've got a whirlwind week. Tell us a little bit more about where you're going from here. You're in Eugene right now.
Yep.
Tracktown, USA. Yep. Where are you off to?
So we are, first of all, I'm going to be signing some boxes.
Yeah.
So we're not going anywhere yet. And then Jeremy and I are hopping on a plane to LA, and we are going to see the film's premiere in theaters in LA on Thursday, and then we'll come back to Eugene and do like a Q&A with the screening on Saturday here in town. And that's always so special, is to like see it in the place where it was born.
Yeah.
Because people, it's their backyard.
Absolutely.
And then just getting back on the training train. I think that's
good.
Like
just the right time for it too. The rain's finally lifted and it'll be more enjoyable.
You can't tell, but it's not pouring outside.
For the first time in a long time.
It's so nice.
Anyways, I want to thank Alexi for coming by. Here's the big hug I promised my mom I'd give you.
Yeah.
She is going to be with us for the next hour. She has graciously offered to sign every single variety pack purchased at rungum.com. This is something you're not going to want to miss. Why don't you show them what that beautiful signature looks like? This is Olympian. This is a famous actress, Alexi Pappas. She is one of my best friends here in Tracktown, USA. I'm so honored to have been invited to participate in your movie.
And I'm left-handed, so if you get a smudged one, it just makes it that much more special.
All right, show it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Stay awake. It's not the motto.